You woke up this morning and for just a second, before the day started, before the phone, before any of it, you had this feeling. Not sadness, exactly. Not dread. Something quieter than that. Something more like, is this it? And then the day started, and you pushed it down because there was no time for it and because you couldn't even explain it if someone asked and because, honestly, what would you even say? That you're tired of your own life? That sounds ungrateful. That sounds like a problem people with real problems don't have. So you got up, you made coffee or got the kids ready or opened your laptop or did whatever the morning requires, and you carried that feeling into the day with you the way you always do. This video is about that feeling, and I want to start by telling you it has a name, and it is far more common than anyone talks about. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that tends to arrive somewhere in your late 30s or 40s, and it is not the exhaustion of doing too much, though you probably are doing too much. It is something different. It is the exhaustion of living a life that looks right from the outside but doesn't feel like yours from the inside. You built the thing. You did what you were supposed to do. You worked, you committed, you showed up. Maybe you have the career or the house or the relationship or the kids, or you've been working toward all of those things for years. And somewhere in the middle of all that building, quietly, without you noticing, the life stopped feeling like it belongs to you. It started feeling like something you are maintaining rather than something you are living. And the worst part is there is nothing specifically wrong. You cannot point to the problem. It is not a crisis. It is more like a slow leak. A gradual loss of something that you can't quite identify until you reach a morning where the feeling is just too obvious to ignore anymore. Psychologists sometimes call this the arrival fallacy. The idea that once you get to a certain place, the job, the relationship, the milestone, you will finally feel the way you always imagined you would feel when you got there. And then you arrive, and you feel relieved for a moment, and then you feel nothing particular, and the goalpost moves, and you keep going. But eventually the body and the mind stop accepting that answer. Eventually something in you refuses to keep moving the goalpost, and it sits down, and it says, I am tired, not of working, tired of this, tired of running towards something that never quite arrives. That is what you are feeling. And it is not weakness, it is actually a signal worth listening to. At some point, and most people can't remember exactly when, life shifted into autopilot. Monday to Friday with the same rhythms, the same commute, or the same desk, or the same login screen, the same conversations that follow the same patterns, the weekends that fill up with errands and obligations and the things that have to get done before Monday starts again. And you are good at it. That is the thing. You have gotten very good at the autopilot. You show up, you perform, you handle things. People around you would probably say you have it together, and in all the practical ways, you do. But somewhere in the process of getting good at the routine, the days started blurring. January becomes March becomes September, and you look up and wonder where the year went. And then you look back at the last few years and they blur together too. Not because nothing happened, plenty happened, but because so much of it was maintenance. So little of it was actually chosen. When did you last do something you genuinely chose? Not something you had to do, not something expected of you, not something that made sense given your responsibilities, but something you wanted with the kind of wanting that doesn't need a justification. For a lot of people in this season of life, the honest answer to that question is, a long time ago. Longer than they realized until just now. That is the source of the tiredness. Not the work itself. The absence of yourself inside your own life. The sense of going through motions that you designed years ago for a version of you that may not be who you are anymore. You are not the same person you were at 25 or 30. The life you built for that person may not fit the person you are now. And living inside something that doesn't fit, even something well-made, even something you worked hard for, is exhausting in a way that is very difficult to name. There are things that live in this feeling that most people never say out loud. Things like, I love my kids, but I have lost myself completely inside of being their parent, and I don't know who I am outside of that role anymore. Things like, I have been in this relationship for years, and I don't know if I'm still in it because I want to be, or because leaving would require more than I have the energy for right now. Things like, I have spent 15 years building a career that I no longer care about, and I am terrified that it is too late to do anything else. Things like, I scroll past people living lives that look bigger or freer or more alive than mine, and I feel something I'm ashamed of. Not quite jealousy, more like grief. Grief for a version of my own life I don't think is coming. Things like, I wonder sometimes if the people closest to me actually know me, or if they know the version of me that I show up as. If there is even a difference anymore. These thoughts don't make you a bad parent or a bad partner or an ungrateful person. They make you a human being in the middle of a life who is finally paying attention to the distance between the life you have and the life you actually want. That distance is real. It deserves to be acknowledged. Not fixed immediately, acknowledged. Because you cannot address something you are not allowed to admit exists. You are allowed to admit that things are not working the way you hoped. That the life you are living, even if it is a good life by most measures, is not fully satisfying you. That something is missing. Saying that is not ingratitude, it is honesty, and honesty is the only place anything real ever starts. I want to address something before we go further. The phrase midlife crisis has done a lot of damage. It has turned a genuine and important human experience into a punchline, something to be embarrassed about. A cliché for people buying sports cars or making impulsive decisions to escape the feeling rather than face it. What you are experiencing is not a crisis. It is a reckoning. A crisis is chaotic and reactive. A reckoning is slower, more honest. It is the moment when the life you built and the person you have become finally sit down together and look at each other clearly, maybe for the first time in years. And that moment, as uncomfortable as it is not a breakdown. It is an arrival at honesty, and it takes courage to stay in it rather than immediately running toward a distraction or a solution or a way to make the feeling stop. The people who make it through this season well are not the ones who suppress the feeling or laugh it off or throw themselves harder into the routine. They are the ones who let themselves actually feel it, who sit with the discomfort long enough to hear what it is trying to say. Because here is what this feeling is trying to say. Underneath all of it, I want more. Not more things. More aliveness. More moments that feel chosen. More of myself inside my own days. That is not a crisis. That is a person waking up. And waking up even when it is uncomfortable, even when the timing is inconvenient, even when you have no idea what to do with it, is always better than staying asleep. I am not going to tell you to quit your job or leave your relationship or move across the country. Big dramatic changes made from a place of exhaustion usually just trade one set of problems for another. What I will say is this: start by just letting the feeling exist without immediately trying to solve it. You have probably been managing it and suppressing it and distracting yourself from it for a while. Try, just for a little while, to stop doing that. Let it be there. Notice what it is actually saying when you stop running from it. Then ask yourself one honest question. If I removed the fear of what other people would think and the fear of disrupting what I've built, what is one thing I would do differently? Not a fantasy, not a complete reinvention, just one thing. One small shift in the direction of something that feels more like you. It might be an hour a week doing something you stopped doing years ago. A conversation you have been avoiding. A decision you have been postponing. Something small and possible. The tiredness does not require a revolution. It requires a return. A small, deliberate turn back toward yourself. Toward the things that make you feel like a person rather than a function. That turn is available to you. Right now. Inside the life you already have. You are somewhere in the middle of your life. Not at the beginning where everything is still possibility. Not at the end where you are making peace with what was. Somewhere in the thick of it, where the decisions you made are real and the years ahead are real, and the question of who you are and what you want still has time to matter. That is actually a remarkable place to be, even when it doesn't feel like it. You still have time, more than the exhaustion is telling you, more than the blur of the last few years might suggest. The feeling of it being too late, that is the tiredness talking, not the truth. People change the direction of their lives at 38 and 42 and 46, not by blowing everything up, by beginning to choose, one small thing at a time, a life that fits who they actually are. You are not stuck, you are tired. Those are not the same thing. Tired can rest, tired can shift, tired with the right kind of attention can become something else entirely. The morning that you woke up with that feeling, is this it, was not the beginning of a decline, it was the beginning of a question. And questions, when you let yourself actually sit with them, have a way of leading somewhere worth going. You are still here, in the middle of your life, carrying more than anyone sees, asking questions that matter. That is not nothing, that is actually everything. Come back whenever the morning feels that way again. This space is here, and so are you.